Естіліп жатыр ма екен?
Естіліп тұр Қайрат мырза, бірақ кішкене алыстан сияқты.
Қайырлы күн. Естіліп жатыр ма? Алло.
Естіліп тұр енді, иә. Жақсы.
Жақсы. Так. Бәрі камерасы шығады деймін, иә, кажется. Қарап атқаным.
Запись қосылды, Қайрат мырза.
Егер мүмкіндік болса, камераларды қоссаңыз болады, чтобы мен де кішкене экранға сөйлемейтіндей, бірақ қараңыз жағдайларыңызға. Okay, guys, I think I will continue in English. We will record this one. Асимхан, наверное, все-таки басталғаннан кейін кесіп бөлеміз ғой деймін, 2 сессияға. So, today I'll talk about the ethics procedures at SDU and then switch to experimental design in 2 parts, and hopefully we can just make a short videos for each part. Why experimental design? As an ethics committee at SDU, we are receiving applications and many of them are related to experimental designs, and there is like I would say some feedback that I want to provide in general regarding this. Of course, so we have less issues maybe on our ethics committee. But first of all, I want to start about ethics procedures at SDU. Okay, 1 moment. Can you see my screen now, guys? Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yeah, we see.
Okay. So if you go to website, so under research, we have a research ethics page. So I think I'll go by this page and let's make it just bigger. So we have an ethics policy. We have renewed this year. It's available in Kazakh. But in generally, like the policy describes the principles and also procedures. In terms of principles, it's kind of we refer to widespread ethical norms like Belmont report, some others. Also, we refer to the COPE, which is Committee for Publication Ethics. So there are different, I would say, international documents related to research ethics. So basically, we follow those, and I would say there is a consistency between those documents. Yeah, they are not saying about different things. They are all consistent about research ethics. I mean, basically, we follow the rules of no harm to participants. We follow the rules of the conflict of interest. It's important, and publication ethics. Yeah, so those are the main ones. In terms of review procedures, what we have done is very first stage is a self-assessment. So anyone who is conducting research which involves human subjects, be it interview or survey or experiment. So very first step is to go to our webpage, research ethics page, and then fill this self-assessment form. So just let me briefly introduce it to everyone, how it works. And Well, let me open the page also. Yeah, it's taking some time. Okay, self-assessment form for research ethics. For now, it's available only in English, and I think after a while we'll offer it in Kazakh. So the purpose is to determine whether or not your proposed research requires approval of the University Research Ethics Committee. So that's the purpose of this. And here, the result will be fully based on the information that you will provide. And the questions are, like, first you have to fill. Let me just fill the form quickly myself. Okay, it's all correct. So we put here the questions, and you can provide yes or no answer. And based on that, the system will provide you a feedback. So feedback will be, you will see on the screen, and also you will receive email. So for example, harm from human participants, let's say no. If your project use questionnaire interview, which may cause discomfort, for example, no. Hopefully no. Yeah, some collection of information about illegal behavior. Let's say, usually these are not the cases at SDU, but there are a few cases that will be very relevant. And okay, so this is not much related to our research priorities in general, but also we put it there because here participants who are unable to give informed consent. So it can be children, it can be some disadvantaged groups. For example, no. Most common one, why applications come for research ethics committee is research on your own students. So this kind of research normally requires approval of the research ethics committee. Because, I mean, especially if it's your own students, it means the researcher has certain advantage over students, and we have to weigh the benefits of the research and also this kind of, I would say, using advantage as a professor to do research on your own students. So here, this should come to research ethics committee. For example, you say yes to this, only one question, the others no. Let's say, okay. Participation of children younger than 18. So here some students may be younger than 18 and parental consent is not being sought. So that's also should come to research ethics committee. For example, let's say you are doing research on older students. So no. Vulnerable participants, biological samples, okay, not doing that. If you're doing something related to organizational practice of SDU, if yes, also should come to research ethics committee. If no, then you press no, of course. Deception of participants, I hope not. Conflict of interest situations, yeah. So when there is some sponsorship or some other power relations, possible conflict of interests, let's say it's no. Payments to participants, requirement by an outside organization. For example, it's relevant for PhD students. The ministry requires them, like by default, go through ethics committee. Let's say you are not PhD student. And so score 1, you need permission of the research ethics committee. So to continue your research. Because there is one yes. For example, in this case, doing research on your own students. After you see this on the screen, you will receive an email to your account. So at the beginning, when you add your information, so I should have received email. So So basically, I've done it previously several times. Okay, I just received the mail. So it says, "Hi Kairat, we have received your submission. Based on information you provide, you need to apply for ethics review. Please fill out the application form for ethics approval." So when you just, this application form is available through your email, or it's also available on this website. So this is ethics review form. So here you have to provide some information about yourself, your supervisor, or if you're like a individual researcher, you don't need to provide that information. Title of the project, what kind of project is that, who will participate, then purpose, questions, research design, participants, site, data collection instruments, and most importantly, procedure. So especially this part is very important for Research Ethics Committee to make a final decision, especially the participants, procedures, instruments. So all of these are super important for Research Ethics Committee. Of course, this part should be provided. Yeah, confidentiality, anonymity of the process, possible risks, and what are the benefits. Benefits part should be included there. Why? Because if there are certain risks and issues regarding ethics, so Research Ethics Committee should weigh the benefits against the risks. So if benefits exceed the possible risks, then most probably you may receive approval from Research Ethics Committee. But if benefits are less than the risks, of course, your application can be disapproved. So that's after you fill this form, as stated on the website, you send it to the rethics@sdu.edu.kz, and then here we have Asiem Kaukenova, who works at the research department, and she will receive an email and bring it to Research Ethics Committee. And hopefully in 10 working days, you will be informed about the further procedures, whether it can be approval, or you may be asked to provide some additional information, or you may be invited for the meeting of Research Ethics Committee if there are some questions that should be answered like in person. For those of you who are doing PhD dissertation, especially those who are like in the first year or second year, haven't started the data collection process yet, we recommend to go through ethics committee now at this stage. Do not wait for the obligatory committee approval before your defense. So here in Kazakhstan, we have a mandatory PhD students should provide to the dissertation council approval of the ethics committee. But if you have already collected data, it will be post kind of collection. That's not advised. So please come to, if you're a PhD student, please come to ethics committee before you start your data collection. Of course, in terms of our committee, this year we have very strong committee. Represents of different faculties. Let's say we have Maria Pionka, we have Yerke Bulan from Faculty of Law, we have Maria from Business School, we have Dr. Kumbat from the Education Faculty, and different backgrounds, and different methodologies, different approaches. So most of the applications that come to Ethics Committee now receive not only ethical review, but also a lot of recommendations regarding the methodology of the work. So that's, but of course, it's not a job of Ethics Committee to provide feedback on methodology. Also, it's part of the review, the procedures. We hope that the applications that come to Ethics Committee will be already excellent in terms of methodology. That's our hope. And also now we are trying to push faculties to have certain review committees at the faculty level, especially in terms of methodology, where we started already talking on that. And second part of this seminar, I want to discuss the most common maybe problems that we have faced as ethics committee when we received applications, especially in the methodological part of it. Also on this webpage, you can find some resources, consent for parents, guardians of minors if required. Maybe also we will put the consent form here in general. Then you have ethics for authors. So you can press and it will go to the link. In terms of PhD students, before you submit your work for approval, also we want them to fill out the declaration, which says that confirm when carrying out the research work for obtaining PhD degree, including the collection and analysis of data, publication of scientific articles, and writing a dissertation, I followed all principles of research and publication ethics. Why we're requiring it from PhD students? Because in certain cases, we are doing post-review. So the student has already conducted research, and because of ministry requirements, they are coming to ethics committee. So here we are asking PhD students to provide this kind of declaration. In case of some publications like monographs or some others that should go to the scientific council, we would like you to write this kind of declaration also, that this monograph or some other scientific work, when writing it or when collecting data, analyzing data to write it, you have you have followed all ethical principles. So that's another requirement. Of course, some of you are already familiar with this kind of ethical requirements from your previous university, from your previous background. For some of you, it can be a bit new and I would say even tough. That I mean, here people in Kazakhstan are more used to jump into research directly, collecting data, surveys, doing interviews. But there might be some issues which we want to prevent. Yeah, we are receiving also some applications from researchers, not students, but also researchers who need ethics committee approval for publication of the manuscript. But we cannot provide because the manuscript is already submitted and the ethics committee decision was not obtained before data collection. So now we are facing this kind of problems. So in order to put a structure, in order to provide, so this is, I would say mostly it's a service. Please consider this one not as some bureaucratic procedure. Consider all of this as a service that is provided to you, to researchers, to students, in order to prevent any ethical issues that may arise in future and to prevent any harm, physical or emotional, that can be done during research to participants or to society in general. So this is a more considered, so this from the perspective of a service being provided by ethics committee, by those who is involved in this process, for students, for researchers. So this is general overview of how it works. So basically, the whole idea, it's a self-assessment. So you assess yourself in terms of risks. And if based on the self-assessment, you say yes to certain questions, then you will receive email saying that you need to fill the form and require ethical approval. Otherwise, if you are saying no to all questions, then you will receive email. Even I can show. So you will receive this kind of email. We have received your submission based on the information you provided. So this should be emphasized maybe. Based on the information you provided, you need to apply for ethics review. Yeah, so that's one option. The other option, based on the information you provide, you don't need to apply for ethics review. So that's a if you say no to all questions, you will receive this kind of email. And I think you can also use it to show you to your supervisor or to the thesis committee that you have done this test and you have received this answer. Okay, that's maybe all from my part for now. So if you have some questions. We can have some discussion. So I usually explain everything crystal clear. Maybe I'm okay with having no questions, and it's all written there. Procedures are clear. But still, if you have some concerns, yeah, please welcome. Yeah, Madina?
Good afternoon, right? Good
Yeah, good
afternoon,
afternoon.
everybody. Kairat Mirza, thank you very much for your information. I missed the beginning of the seminar. Will you please tell me where we can find this link? Because I joined like 10 minutes late because I saw the message late. And will you please share the link once again?
It's
If you
on
don't mind.
website, Madina. So if you go to our main website, research, and here research ethics.
Okay.
Research ethics, and this is like a web page, and the procedures that I was talking about, they all explain here. And please fill the self-assessment form. So the link is there. You can download the review form. So normally I explained what's already written there, and links are provided. But just yeah, it's always good to have some conversation and maybe oral presentation.
Interaction.
Yeah, interaction, some interaction regarding these matters.
Yes, one more. Yes, thank you. One more question concerning the students. Like if these are our students, but the research is conducted by by other teachers, is it okay? Like not me, not I am conducting, but I still teach the students.
Okay,
Is it okay?
if you are not part of the project, if you are not
Yeah,
part of
like
the project,
I'm just observing how other teachers are applying the methods which I asked them to apply, for example. Is it okay?
but it's here's the two things. Like one part, it's some other person, let's say, doing treatment, applying some treatment, or doing interview, or collecting data. But you are still part of the project, yeah, as I understand.
I am like I am planning to do research with the 2 foreign languages students, and these are still my students. But
Yes.
I will ask other teachers to do that since we're not allowed to, right? Like I teach the majority of the students on 2 foreign languages, so like if they do it on other subjects,
Well,
not
you are
mine.
allowed to do research on your students. It's not like not allowing. If you say yes to certain questions, it's okay still. The only thing, it goes to research ethics committee because there are certain considerations that should be like addressed. There are certain issues should be addressed. Very first one is a participation. Because why we say your own students? Because the teacher has some kind of power over students to make them participate. So that's what makes it a bit tricky and requires ethical approval. Anyone in position of like a power.
Yes.
So here the voluntary participation. It's not completely voluntarily. That's the case. That's why it comes to ethics committee. And there we have to weigh benefits and risks.
Okay. All clear. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So research always, especially with the social science research, medical, social science research, we interact with people, and sometimes there are, issues arise. There are some costs of it in terms of some emotional, even like issue like harm and others. And it's always dilemma. It's always dilemma, risks and benefits. So we have research ethics committee provide you a more independent feedback, like more objective feedback on weighting these costs and benefits, cost benefit analysis, I would say. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, those things that you say yes, they're allowed, but just should be reviewed. Okay, any other concerns? This year, we are making more of, let's say, recommendations. We are just sending emails and we are communicating that we have research ethics committees and these are the rules. I think there will be cases when these rules are not followed and still some student, teachers, researchers will be collecting data, will be proceeding without ethics committee. I mean, this academic year, I expect this kind of cases because, I mean, we have that much people, they will talk to other people, we send mass mails, but still some people may not hear or, I don't know, may not take it seriously. It will happen. I mean, what happens? We cannot prevent it. Maybe from next academic year, we will push it more strictly, application of these ethics rules. But this semester, we are more of recommending and trying to build this culture of ethical research. And starting from next year, we will kind of bring it forward and even discuss cases when people have not followed the rules or maybe do not will not allow the defenses of those project theses that normally should have go through ethical review but haven't. But this is for next academic year. So that's our plan. Okay, if no questions for the first part, let me switch to the second part. So Madina, thank you so much for your, I mean, yeah, others, if you're listening to me, you can say something like this, or I don't know, crying faces, I don't know. Can you guys?
Support.
Yeah, can you guys show some emotions? You know how to show emotions, yeah? Like there is special button, yeah. This, or I don't know, this, it doesn't matter, anything. Okay.
Kairat
Oh, thank you
Murza,
so much.
а,
Yep, please.
рахмет. Менде почему-то упоминание шығып тұр, 1 сағаттан кейін бітеді деп, для всех.
Ну жақсы, мен 1 сағатта бітіремін.
Менде 5 минуттан кейін, 1 сағаттан асты да біздің қосылғанымызға.
Да? 2-де бастауға қазір неше болды
2-де
сағат?
бастадық негізі, да, но солай жазып тұр, түсінбедім.
40 минут беріп жатыр ма не?
Переключимся, может быть, я.
Ну, давайте, митинг
Өтіп қалмас үшін. Ау?
Жақсы, білмеймін.
Ну, менде сонда уведомление шығып тұр, 5 минуттан кейін да бітеді деген. Для всех.
Да?
Аха.
Окей. Қайттан қосылайық болғанда, как раз екінші сессия, experimental design. Окей, жақсы.
Жақсы, рахмет.
Okay, then see you after 1 minute, guys.